is that our life is very, very unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. We never know what's coming from one moment to the next. And though we may plan lots of really positive, great things to happen, we can't guarantee that they'll actually come into fruition, or that we'll be in the right state of mind to be able to enjoy them. And so again, Buddha said that human life is unpredictable. Even with our relationships, he said one moment they are friends, the next moment they are your enemies, and even when they're enjoying themselves, they can get angry. Worldly beings are very unreliable, and we know that's true, don't we, in terms of our relationship. Now, when I say this, please nod a little bit, because otherwise it always makes me feel like, it's me with all these issues, so just work with me a little bit. So, people are unreliable, and they do let us down, and it's not necessarily their intention, it's just all part of being human. The seventh Dalai Lama, he said, "Whoever I behold, of high position or low, ordained or lay, male or female, they differ only in appearance, dress, behaviour and status. In essence, they are all equal. They all experience problems in their lives." So if we think in our mind that somehow if we had more money, we wouldn't have problems. If we were taller, we wouldn't have problems. If we got ordained and took on the robes of an ordained person, we wouldn't have problems. If we got married, we wouldn't have problems. If we weren't married, we wouldn't have problems. If we had kids, we wouldn't have problems. If we didn't have kids, we wouldn't have problems. Because the mind does tend to think like this, doesn't it? So as difficulties arise, we sort of think, well, people who haven't got kids have less problems, or people who have less money have less problems, blah, 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 blah. People who are taller have less problems. But actually, it isn't true. It doesn't matter where we go and who we mix with, whatever way they appear, everybody is experiencing problems and difficulties. That they differ, that they're relative, aren't they? Suffering's relative to the person who's experiencing them. So the types of sufferings that we experience, some of it is very obvious, so if we get sick and we've got a bad cold, then we've got some suffering ripening, and we can say that that's manifest suffering. We're experiencing that suffering, it's very clear. But another part of our suffering is that even the things that we enjoy, we think of them as pleasures, but actually even those, a lot of those are sufferings, because they are just a relief of a previous pain or discomfort. So if I'm really lonely and then I meet somebody, I think, wow, this person's incredible, and I'm really drawn to this person, and then I feel so happy because I feel like I found the solution to my problem, this person, yeah? But actually what's happening is it's just a reduction of my loneliness, because before I was lonely and now I've got this wonderful person, so now I'm not going to be lonely anymore. But unfortunately this wonderful person also comes with lots of problems, as we know, because it's not long, is it, after we've been with them for a while, we just think, oh my goodness, I really do need a bit of space, yeah? And so we have a bit of space, and I thought, oh, it's just lovely to be on my own for a change, yeah? Do you see what I mean? So it's just this, and it's the same with everything, we get hungry, we eat, and as we're eating, we go, oh, this is lovely, but actually it's just reducing the hunger that we had previously, yeah? So this is what Buddha called changing suffering. So we see the pleasure, we like that pleasure of the moment. That moment when it's like, oh, this is lovely. That's what we like. Or, oh, they're lovely. Or, oh, yes, this is what we like, that moment. But it doesn't last, because that moment, if we continue to indulge in whatever it is that we're doing, will eventually cause us suffering. Yeah, so if we like to eat chocolate, we think, oh, that's lovely, I'll just sit down with this bar of chocolate, no one's around. If you've got children of any age, that's rare, isn't it? They always manage to appear. Do you find that, family people? Someone always manages to appear when you sit down, you're just going to have that sneaky moment. But if you just kept going with that, you managed to get a whole day and you could eat chocolate all day, then theoretically by the end of the day you'd be so happy, wouldn't you? Because you know what the truth is, that you won't be. You'll just feel sick and you'll think, that's it, I don't need chocolate for a while. Yeah, this is what happens, isn't it? Whatever we're doing. So though we long for that, oh, that's a lovely moment, it doesn't last, yeah. because a lot of all that lovely is actually just an experience of stopping a previous uncomfortable or unpleasant feeling. So why we experience this, what's called changing suffering, and why we experience what's called manifest suffering, is because the nature of our body and the nature of our mind is that it produces suffering. Okay? We check, where does our suffering come from? It comes from within our body, it comes from within our mind. We don't experience it anywhere else. We might think that it comes from externally, yeah, but that's not our internal experience, yeah. So whatever's going on externally, we've got to take it internally to experience it as pleasant or unpleasant. So so where are these unpleasant feelings arising from? They're coming from within our mind. Where are we experiencing pain? We're experiencing it within our body. We're experiencing it within our mind. Why? Because this human body functions to produce these unpleasant feelings, which we then identify as pain. So whilst we have a human body and a human mind, we will suffer, we will experience problems, and we will experience pains. So this is very, very important, because if we think that actually I can live in this human body and I can live in this human mind and I will not experience pains and suffering, and there are people out there who have that, then we are what's called deluded. Actually, we're living a fairy tale, and it's not true. It's slightly foolish, because it is not possible. There is nowhere we can go in this world where we will find people who have not got problems. Why? Because they are born in a human body, with a human body with a human mind, and because we are surrounded by other people with a human body and a human mind, which gives rise to pain and suffering. And in the same way that we're always trying to avoid and get away from our pain and suffering, so are the people around us. Yeah? So this is actually the truth of being human. So Buddhism, it is very raw, it's very honest. It goes straight to the core of the truth, really, and just saying, look, you can be happy. You definitely can be happy. Buddha says you can be happy, and you can attain permanent peace. But whilst you have a human body and a human mind, you will have problems and difficulties. You will have pains. Your body is produced to produce pain. Your mind is produced to produce pain. So we will experience that. So our challenge then is not so much to eradicate our pain and suffering, though eventually that is possible through very high-level realizations. But our challenge for us throughout our life is to be able to live with our pain and suffering, and for that pain and suffering to become part of our spiritual realizations, or a part of our development of inner strength, rather than a process that slowly eradicates and destroys our confidence and our quality of life. So this is what Buddhist teachings does. It helps us, it empowers us to be able to work with the pain and suffering that is inevitable. And in working with it in this way, it actually helps to reduce it.